Hi, my name is Lila Migliorelli, and I'm running for state rep for the 32nd Middlesex District, which represents Melrose, some of Wakefield, and part of Malden. I'm running for this open seat because I feel like it's more important now than ever to have someone with a proven track record of getting results for their community, and I believe that I can be that leader for you on day one. Just a little bit about myself first. I'm the daughter of a Pakistani immigrant father and mother of Irish Italian descent, and I grew up blending cultures, traditions, and perspectives. As a biracial woman, I have lived my life navigating differences with empathy and curiosity. And if elected, I would be the first South Asian person to ever have served in the Massachusetts state legislature. All my life, I have had a passion for public service and got involved in Melrose when I moved back here in 2015. I first started with the Melrose Human Rights Commission, where I got to work on organizing community events, fundraising for outreach activities, and supporting our immigrant neighbors through trainings. After my time on the Human Rights Commission, I ran for Melrose City Councilor at Large, where I served for 6 years, my last 2 years as council president. During my time on the council, I led on a lot of issues impacting our residents the most, including affordability, creating the city's first affordable housing trust, public education, working to support our schools and teachers and students, and supporting key infrastructure projects throughout the city. I am looking to bring all of that experience with me at the local level to help represent you at the state level. My track record on racial justice issues in our community and throughout my personal professional career are very strong. During my time on the council, I regularly participated in Melrose Racial Justice Community Coalition meetings, supporting their efforts to engage with residents in important dialogue in our city. As a biracial woman, I draw on my own lived experience and personal values of equity and justice. But right now, we're unfortunately at a time in which the value of diversity is being openly criticized and challenged by our federal government. While we're very lucky to live in a socially progressive state, the work to ensure that all of our residents feel safe and welcome here never stops. If elected as your state representative, I will continue to lead with my values and look forward to building coalitions with other legislators to work on these issues. I also commit to leading with honesty, and as a first-time state rep serving alongside 160 other state legislators, I know I will not have the unilateral power to change the system on my own. But my experience working with others and colleagues to move issues forward, challenging issues forward, will position me well for this role. In addition to the issues and topics we're talking about on this forum, I will also work on the following, which I believe will have a meaningful impact on our Black and Brown community members. The creation of the universal pre-K to give kids a good head start in their educational journey, expanding access to affordable health care coverage, addressing maternal health disparities which disproportionately impact Black women, and investing in reproductive health care. I also hope to continue working on protecting immigrants, and at this particular time, from the horrific federal ICE enforcement policies and actions that are literally disappearing our neighbors from our communities and holding them in detainment camps unlawfully. What this district needs is a person who has the experience, work ethic, and values to represent our community at the state level. My values are clear, and I have been endorsed on those values by organizations such as Progressive Mass, Reproductive Equity Now, Clean Water Action, and multiple labor unions, all of whom fiercely advocate for workers' rights on a regular basis.
Topic 1. Racial disparities in student discipline. This question is based on discipline data that school districts have reported to the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. The following analysis is based on 13 school years, from 2012-13 to 2024-25. In Massachusetts, as well as in the municipalities in the 32nd Middlesex District, Black students are disciplined at higher rates than white students. This chart shows the discipline rates for Black students and for white students for the municipalities in the 32nd Middlesex District. The discipline rate for Black students is shown in the red bars. The discipline rate for white students is shown in the blue bars. The discipline rate is the number of students disciplined divided by the number of students in the school district. So in Melrose, 3% of Black students were disciplined compared to 0.7% of white students. Massachusetts is provided at the far right for comparison. Question 1. What precise steps would you take in your first 2 years to reduce school discipline disparities?
As the mother of two sons who've attended Melrose Public Schools since kindergarten, I have had the privilege of having conversations with my kids about this very topic and how implicit bias and racism unfortunately play a factor in school discipline issues. There are policy solutions to this issue. And as your state representative, I will use the tools available to me: legislation, budget authority, DESE oversight, and public accountability to help reduce racial disparities in school discipline. This includes strengthening Chapter 222 to prohibit suspensions for subjective nonviolent behaviors such as defiance or disruption, which disproportionately affect Black students. And I would also be supportive of corrective action plans for districts with persistent racial gaps in suspensions or expulsions.
Topic 2. Educator Representation. This question is based on data from the Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education School District Profiles. In the 2023 school year, 2 of the 3 municipalities in the 32nd Middlesex District had no teachers who identified as Black. So this chart shows in the red bars the percent of Black teachers and in the blue bars the percent of Black students. And it's shown for each of the school districts in the 32nd Middlesex District. So again, for Melrose there in the center, 0%, whereas the percent of Black teachers in Melrose, and 5.5% is the percent of Black students in the Melrose School District. Massachusetts is again provided for comparison, and that's reporting across all the school districts in Massachusetts. This is a loss for all students and is especially harmful for our Black students. Research shows that when Black students have Black teachers, they are more likely to thrive academically and less likely to be suspended. Question 2. In your role as representative, what will you do to hire more Black teachers and to increase the number of Black students who seek a career in teaching?
I really appreciate this question because representation is important to me personally. As a kid, when I attended school, I did not have teachers who looked like me and really fully understand the impact of seeing yourself and others, and especially in leadership positions such as teachers. If elected, I will work to strengthen the educator pipeline, remove licensure barriers, and explore the creation of hiring and retention grants for districts that demonstrate progress in recruiting and supporting educators of color.
Topic 3. Racial disparities in arrest. This question is based on arrest records data that police departments have reported to the Massachusetts Executive Office of Public Safety and Security. The following analysis is based on 19 years of data from 2007 to 2025. In the 2020s, across the 32nd Middlesex District municipalities, the total number of Black people arrested has declined compared to previous decades. However, Black people now account for an even higher share of all arrests. So this chart shows that trend. The red bars are the number of Black people arrested across the police departments in the 32nd Middlesex District. The arrest records, each arrest record provides information where race is provided. So this is the sum of all the times Black was identified as the race in the arrest record. So those are the red bars. And as you can see in the 2020s, the red bars are generally not as tall as they were in the earlier years of the 2000s. The blue bar is the share of arrest, so to speak. So it's of the number of Black people arrested, what does that represent as a percent of all arrest? And in the years of the 2020s, what you've seen across the 32nd Middlesex District municipalities, an increase in the share at that the number of Black arrests represents, peaking to 30% of all arrests in 2024. In Massachusetts, for Black people, both the number and share of total arrest have increased each year of the 2020s. So again, this is the sum of Black arrests across all of the police departments reporting to Massachusetts. And again, you see an increase in the red bars, the sum of Black arrests in the 2020s, and again, an increase in that represented as a share or percent of all arrests. Also provided here is this black line, which represents the Black population in Massachusetts, which is 10.2%. So the percent of Black people living in Massachusetts, which is just over 10%, is lower than the percent of Black people represented among all arrests in Massachusetts, which again in the 2020s has hovered above 20%. So double the population rate in Massachusetts. Additionally, in the 32nd Middlesex District municipalities and in Massachusetts, the percentage of Black people among those arrested is much higher than the percentage of Black people in the population. So in this chart, the red bars are the percent of arrests to our Black people in each of the municipalities, and the blue bar is the percent of Black people in the population of the municipality. So in Melrose, Black people comprise 10% of all arrests, and Black people comprise 2% of the city population. Question 3. As representative, what steps would you take to ensure that police departments in Massachusetts are not engaging in policing practices that perpetuate systemic racism?
I commend the work of the state legislature to date to help regulate public safety policies across the state to ensure that our police force is adequately trained to handle the scenarios they face on a daily basis. As a city councilor, I consistently voted to fund training opportunities for our police force during my 3 terms on the council, which included training to learn implicit bias and de-escalation techniques. I would continue to support these efforts if elected as your state representative.
Topic 4. Racial disparities in home loans. This question is based on home loan applications that lending institutions have reported to the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau in compliance with the Home Mortgage Disclosure Act. The following analysis is based on loan applications for mortgages for single-family owner-occupied homes. The analysis is based on 19 years of data from 2007 through 2025. In the municipalities in the 32nd Middlesex District, the mortgage applications from Black homebuyers are denied at a higher rate than those from white homebuyers. So this chart shows the denial rates for home purchase loan applications in the 32nd Middlesex District municipalities, again across these years, 2007 to 2025. The red bar is the denial rate for Black applicants, the percent of applications that were denied, and the blue bar is the denial rate for white applicants. So the percent of home purchase applications denied among the white applicants. So again, Melrose, for example, 13% of the home purchase applications from Black applicants were denied, compared to 8% of those from white applicants. Black applicants are more likely to be denied than white applicants due to debt to income ratio and insufficient cash. So when a lender denies an application, multiple reasons can be provided as to why the application was denied. And here is a graph of the percent of time the reason was cited in a denial. So again, the reason cited for denied applications from Black applicants are in red, and the reasons cited for white applicants that were denied are in blue. So here, debt to income ratio was cited as a reason in 44% of the applications denied from Black applicants compared to 34% of the applications denied from white applicants. Insufficient cash was also mentioned. That was a reason cited for 13% of the denials for Black applications compared to 6% of the denials for white applicants. Debt to income ratio was the top reason for denials across all of Massachusetts. So this chart, instead of just looking at the 32nd Middlesex District, you're looking at the reasons given for all the denials across Massachusetts for the same period of time. And again, debt to income ratio is the main reason cited. It was cited in 42% of the denials from Black applicants compared to 35% of the denials from white applicants. Question 4. In your first 2 years, what steps would you initiate to increase the number of Black homeowners in Massachusetts?
Addressing the housing shortage issue in Metro Boston area is a central focus of my campaign. I'm proud to have led on this issue as a city councilor, where I worked to create the city's first affordable housing trust. Knocking on thousands of doors across the district during this campaign, I am hearing regularly of residents' struggles to afford housing, wanting to age in place, or buy their first homes. As many of us know, racist housing policy and zoning led to segregation, inability for Black residents to build wealth through homeownership. This wealth disparity is not only growing by the minute, but also exacerbated by federal policy issues that continue to push prices higher for everything from housing to groceries. If elected as your state representative, I will expand down payment assistance, strengthen anti-discrimination enforcement, increase housing supply, and support longtime homeowners in historically redlined communities.
Closing remarks. Reflecting on all of this, what actions will you take to advance racial justice, and how will you measure progress?
I just want to say thank you to FBLN for providing the opportunity to speak about racial justice and how we can help as state representatives to create a more equitable Commonwealth. I'm excited and ready to serve as your next state representative for the 32nd Middlesex and encourage everyone to make a plan to vote in the Democratic state primary, whether it's voting by mail or voting early in person, which starts on Saturday, August 22nd in all 3 communities, or voting the day of on Tuesday, September 1st. There are only 2 Democrats in this race, so the decision about who will be your next state representative will be made on September 1st. Make sure you're a part of the decision-making process and cast your ballot. And when you go to vote, I hope you consider voting for me, Lila Migliarelli, as your state rep. If you want to learn more about me, you can go into my website, lilaforrep.com. And thank you, and I look forward to working with you in the future.